Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I hope you're enjoying the warmer weather that we're having. Well, today's kind of cloudy, but it's close to spring, our daylight savings times. I'm very happy for the longer days and the evenings and lighter days, so that's a perk. So, anyway, so it's been a while since the last video. I told you that it would probably be a while because I wouldn't have anything really to say until the scans that I took last week. And so I took those scans, and well, the only thing that's happened in between last video and the scans were I had some gastritis, which I had back in September, and that's just inflammation of the stomach lining, and so it's just really uncomfortable to eat, and it's really nagging, dull pain there. But they gave me medication for it. I saw a gastroenterologist that I saw back in September who gave me the same medication, and that helps. It went away. He didn't want to do endoscopy because of my low counts, white blood cell counts, excuse me, to avoid an infection. And so we were going to wait to see what the scans came back with and move forward. And so my oncologist thinks that it could be indirectly because of the cancer, affected by the cancer, but because the medication is working, he thinks it's just really gastritis and inflammation, and to just continue taking the medicine that I'm taking. So doing that. Another thing was I had some pelvic pain on both sides, my hip area, my lower back, kind of shooting down to my legs. A couple days, kind of uncomfortable, but it went away. So that was good. I haven't really had it since then. So that's about it. Moving on with life since then. But I had the scans done last Wednesday at Advanced Radiology. And the way the scans are, it's you get an injection with something that's called the contrast. It's so cool because it comes in this metal container. That's how serious that thing is. And you have to sit and let it go through your body for 90 minutes. So it's a nice quiet time. I love it. And then you go in and you lay down and you get the scans done, pictures done. It's about 20 minutes and it's taking images, and how it comes out is pretty much everything is white, and the spots where the cancer cells are will be black. Skull always comes out black, but that doesn't mean anything about cancer. And the image is actually from the base of your skull down to your mid-thigh. And so Advanced Radiology had it set up where the report wouldn't get released until my oncologist read it, which he didn't read it until yesterday when he got back to work, to the office. And but my chart, so I wasn't able to see it through Advanced Radiology, and I like to read my reports ahead of time. But it was cool. I wasn't able to read it fine. I knew I would see it on Monday, and it was a busy weekend anyway, so I really didn't have time to worry about it. But actually my chart released it on Sunday afternoon, so I was able to read it early anyway. And then I talked with Dr. Dunnigan about it yesterday. And so this is what that looks like. A pathology report. A radiologist at Advanced Radiology is the one who actually reviews the images and writes the report with what he finds. And I'm so thankful Dr. Dunnigan set it up where he asked for it to be compared to the scans from last time. So we don't do that comparison. It's already written out here. So that was good. And I'll give you an example of one. So the way it's broken down, it goes from the top to the bottom, what you see from top to bottom. And so for head and neck, no significant abnormalities on the CT. For thoracic, which is like your lung area, this area here, it actually decreased. So that's good. So an example of one, it says one of the lymph nodes had a maximum SUV, I forgot what that stands for, of 7.39, and previously it measured at 8.37. So that shows how that went down. Another one was 6.42. Previously it was 10.96. So those have come down. So that's great news. But they're still there, and none of them have actually disappeared. So then after the lung area comes down to the abdomen area and pelvis area. And so here it says that it shows a significant progression of metastasis. So there are lesions there that have actually grown and larger in size. Like one was previously, where was it previous? It was previously 8.62. It's now 16.04. There are also some newer lesions and tumors. So that's mostly in the liver area where I had it before already. And then in the bone marrow, the next section, it says there has been progression of metastatic disease, OSOS, with involvement throughout the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. That's the different sections of your spine. Multiple ribs, the scapula, just to show just area, as well as near diffuse activity throughout the pelvis. And lesions remains in both hips, extending into the proximal femurs, the long bone in our thigh area. Which is interesting because I did have radiation on one of those. But it may have shrunk it, but it's still there. And that's it. That's the rest of the report. And so I was interested in seeing what Dr. Dunnigan was going to say and recommend, being that one area has improved, but another one has not. And so, but I knew that it had spread. I just sensed that it had spread somewhere, that it had progressed, especially more in the pelvic area because I had been having that pain on both sides and down my leg, which I hadn't had before. So I'm not surprised by the report and the findings at all, but I was interested in seeing what Dr. Dunnigan would recommend, again, being that one side was better and another side was not. But like I thought he did say that this is considered not working. The first line of treatment is not working because it has progressed so much, and specifically in the liver. In the bones, he said sometimes it can actually be healing, but it can look like it's bad because of the dark spots. It could look like it's a cell, but it's actually that it's healing. But the liver, he's like, that's a real showing. And so that's a concern for him. So we just don't use the other, the shot or the Ibrance anymore. And so now we'll be moving on to the second line of treatment, in which going with was called Zoletta. And that's an actual chemo form in a pill that I would take 2 weeks on, 14 days, and then 1 week off. And I would do that for 3 cycles and then take the next set of scans and see how that one is working. The other one was a target therapy. It targeted the actual genes of the cells that I have. Everybody's cancer is different. Their makeup is all different of those cancer cells. And so this one was meant to target those. It also was considered your best punch, but as of the medicine that we have available now, that is directed to the type of cells that I have. And it also was a kind that is tolerable. So the Zoletta may not be as strong and is also not as tolerable. But it still has helped many people. Even as a second line, it has helped sometimes better than the first line. And by help, it can, for a time period, slow down the progression. Again, this medicine is to slow down the progression. The cancer is not going to disappear again unless the Lord, and He can, takes it away. They will continue to progress. At some point, the medicine, whatever might be working for, let's say, several months or several years, at some point the cancer is going to be like, okay, look, you ain't no good no more. I got you. And one of the things that I think about with this is the fact that I did chemo. I did the strongest sets of chemo that there was when I had regular breast cancer in 2016. The 3 different types of chemo drugs for 5 months. Did radiation for 6 weeks. Did surgery to have them removed to the margins as close as I could have done. I did hormonal therapy for 3 years to target my specific type of cells. And with all of that, it still spread. And so, it's an aggressive form. So that's what it is. But this chemo type of pill, chemotherapy that's in the pill form, will help to, break it down as much as possible and keep it at bay from progressing, and block is the goal, to block its growth. The side effects for that is nausea, the most common: nausea, diarrhea, which is bad. I'd have to definitely let him know if I have that. Obviously, with that can come dehydration. And something called hand-foot syndrome, which is not like hand-foot disease, it's viral. And that will make your hands very sensitive and red and hot. You may have some blisters, not the open sore kinds. And so it could be difficult to walk with and so forth. But again, not everybody has it, so we'll see. And then what was the other one? Nausea and mouth sores. And then, but it doesn't have low white blood counts. Yay! I don't walk around with my mask anymore. What else? And then less common ones are headaches, constipation, obviously fatigue, weakness, things like that. So that is going to be the interesting thing for me, is starting all over with a new drug and figuring out what kind of side effects I'll have and how to affect me. I have been very, very blessed with the drugs that I've had even back in 2016. It could have been a lot worse. A lot of other people have experienced their side effects so much worse. And so I'm very grateful for that. But always going into a new one, you don't know that that's going to happen. And so I'm like, okay, how is this one going to affect me? Is it going to be bad or not? So we'll see. Lord willing, it's in the process of getting approved through insurance now. They called me this morning. And it's with the pharmacy, and either my hospital or the pharmacy will call me to say it's been approved and for delivery, because they mail it to my house. And then I have to go to GBMC and meet with the nurse. They do what's called a teach session before you start a new drug, and to give you all the information and side effects and things of that nature. So hopefully I can squeeze that in this week and get started at the end of this week or early next week. Let's see. So that is that for the report. And then, like I said, I'm not surprised. Just move on to the next one and keep it going. One thing that I wanted to share was at the appointment yesterday with Dr. Dunn again. He said that it was like he's so amazed by my perspective and how laid back I am, and I had to remind him that it's not me. I couldn't do this without Jesus. He gives me this peace, and I don't know how anybody else could do it without him. I know that, and I told him, he had to laugh, but I told him, I was like, oops is not in Jesus' vocabulary. It's not a mistake. All of this has happened for a reason. He's allowed it. Yes, in his perfect world that he created, this wouldn't happen. Cancer would not exist, but it does right now. And this is just my story. And I'm not surprised. I am thankful that I'm not in this alone. I'm thankful for y'all support, and thankful for the day that I have right now. And however long I have, who knows how long it's going to be. But I told some friends yesterday, it's not a setback, it's a sit back, and enjoy the time that I have now. So I am grateful for all of y'all, and ask that you continue to pray, encourage. If you're local, let's spend some time together. And actually, I'm so excited. I got in contact with a friend from junior high school in New York, and we're actually going to see each other really soon over spring break. She's coming down to Baltimore, so I'm so excited about that. And I'm just, going to enjoy this time that I have while I still feel well. Oh, that's one more thing. Yes. So I asked him about, at what point does the progression get to the point where he's like, okay, nothing's working, that's it. And what he described is that it doesn't matter necessarily how far spread it is. It could be in one location, but if that person is just not doing well and everything's failing, your organs are failing and it's not functioning well, that person is considered, I forgot the term he called it. I should have wrote it down, but it's towards the end for that person. But it's not like that. It doesn't matter how far. Like in my case, it's spread in so many locations, but so far I am functioning. Now, the liver, he says, we can live. He said the liver is forgivable, and we can live with the liver functioning on 5%, which is amazing. But it is a major organ. And so he's given me the signs to what to look for in case, my liver is not functioning, it's failing. But So who knows how long it could be, and how long it could go. But those are a question that I have for him. I think that is all. I'm pretty sure I probably missed something, but that's the gist, and this video is long enough. So thank you for bearing with me for this long video. Hopefully the next one won't be so long. I will definitely let you guys know when I start the next drug, and what side effects I'm having with it. You guys could be praying for those specific things. But I think that's it right now. You guys, love you. Talk to you later. Bye.